Don't believe anything I say just because I said it. 1993. Philosophy 100. Professor Ronald D'Souza. That's what he said in class the very first day. Don't believe anything I say just because I said it. Taking philosophy was the best decision I made at U of T. Yeah, I wanted to become a chartered accountant. I wanted to only study business. I didn't want to take courses outside business. Why? Why, if I wanted to study business, why take any courses outside business? Well, the program requires a breadth requirement, which means you must take 3 full courses outside of your area of specialty. I struggled and struggled to find what course I could take. Didn't like any courses if it wasn't business related. I took history, hated it. First week of class, had to buy like 7 textbooks, write essays that are 20 pages long with footnotes and research. Didn't want to do that. Wasn't interesting. Then I met a guy who later became my best friend at U of T. His name is Michael Lee. What a guy. Great guy. And he said to me, why don't you take philosophy? Never heard of that. Yeah. You write an essay about an essay. Interesting. So I took it. And then, first day of class, I loved it. You know, that's how you know when you really like something. When it's so good at first. If you eat something and that first bite is spot on, you know that's a good dish. If you go to a place and you feel alive, you know that's your place. And if you meet somebody and you say, hey, this guy is interesting, something about him. And the same thing about a course. The first day I took philosophy. You know, we were studying Plato Meno. It was a 30-page little paperback book. 30 pages only. Not 30 pages for a chapter like many textbooks have. 30 pages for the entire book. And all it was a discussion between Socrates and Meno about what the definition of virtue is. My final exam question was, among other questions, philosophy is valuable because it's useless. I remember that question still. What a great question. And I was so excited to answer that. Even the professors of philosophy argued effectively why it was good to become a professor. And they said, you know, if you are a doctor, you're dealing with people who are sick. If you're a lawyer, you're dealing with people who are in trouble. But if you are a professor, then you are dealing with people at the prime of their lives, and the interaction is just marvelous. That was Professor Slater. I remember that quite clearly. 30 years later. Philosophy of Business. I took that by Professor Winchell. And in there I studied why firms are not necessarily trying to maximize profits. But wait a second, that's the assumption. We all assume that a business is trying to maximize profits. We assume it. We don't question it. But philosophy of business argued that no, that wasn't the objective. It was that a firm was trying to play a role in society, add value. And as I think about that, you know, Google, Facebook, Apple, Steve Jobs says, we're trying to build beautiful products that we can be proud of, that we can share with our friends and family. Yeah, there's a point to that. And so, as you are entering university for the first year, in the second week, and your courses may be not written in stone, consider taking philosophy. it helped me out in university. It helped me be an effective tutor in economics. It helped me in general, in everything. I can see how people make mistakes in reasoning. I can see what is a good argument, what is a bad argument. I think I can think clearly. I think I can think clearly. And yes, it was very enjoyable. The professors at the Department of Philosophy are all united in being great. Professor Derek Allen. Go with the natural interpretation, he said. By natural, we mean unforced. A nice way to explain how communication works. Go with the natural interpretation. And by natural, we mean unforced. And so I'm not here to teach philosophy, just here to express my views and my thoughts on my experience with taking philosophy and how it was the best decision I made. So if you're here in university to learn a few things that could be useful for the rest of your life, then consider philosophy.